Have you ever felt your cat watching you, even when there was absolutely nothing around? Picture this. The late afternoon light softly fills the room. Your cat, still on the sofa, stares intently, pupils dilated, at an empty spot on the wall. A strange silence settles in the room. You start to notice that expression, a mix of fascination and alertness, isn't uncommon. But what could it be seeing there? Or rather, what could it be feeling? Subscribe to the channel and give us a like to access more stories like this. Think for a moment. How many times have you seen your cat meowing at nothing, chasing something invisible, or suddenly getting scared for no apparent reason? Are these just simple games, or is there something more to it? What if there was an answer that challenged everything you believe about the world around you? What if I told you there's evidence, ancient and modern, that cats not only perceive but interact with realities and energies beyond our everyday understanding? Before we go on, a quick break. If this mystery has sparked your curiosity, don't forget to hit like now, comment if you've experienced something similar, and subscribe so you don't miss any secrets revealed throughout this video. Let's get back to it. That feeling there's something more in your cat's gestures and gazes might be a clue to one of humanity's most fascinating and hidden spiritual phenomena. Get ready. Over the next few minutes, you'll question everything you think you know about who you live with daily, and maybe even about your own existence. Now take a deep breath. Keep an open mind. The journey begins now. Together, we'll unravel the enigmas about the spiritual and energetic role of cats, guided by stories, experiences, and a name that transformed the Western view of these creatures. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet. Edgar Cayce. Much more than just a name among occult scholars, he's considered the most documented psychic of the 20th century, known globally as the sleeping prophet. Born in 1877 in the United States, Cayce performed thousands of readings while in a trance state, addressing topics like health, past lives, spiritual energy, life purpose, and of course, the surprising connection between humans and animals. Imagine someone able to diagnose complex diseases just through energetic sensitivity, predict global events, and access ancient knowledge. For decades, doctors, skeptics, and researchers tried to decipher his gifts. The result is recorded in over 14,000 cataloged readings, each one full of details that defy common logic. But why is Cayce such an important source for understanding the feline spiritual world? In his readings, he stated that all living beings share energetic levels, and in the case of cats, something even more unique, living portals between the physical and spiritual worlds. Cayce argued that cats perceive and manipulate subtle energies, able to detect emotional fields and even protect their guardians from negative influences. The simple fact that such an influential figure stated, nearly 100 years ago, that cats not only sense but transmit and transform energies around them marks a new path to understanding the inexplicable. It's no wonder that, even today, his prophecies and guidance inspire alternative therapies, scientific research, and, of course, how many people now look at their own pets. Stay tuned, because from now on you'll start noticing patterns and behaviors in your cat that you never perceived before. By the way, how far does your perception of what's real go? Have you ever noticed the 3 main spiritual behaviors of cats, according to Edgar Cayce? I'll guide you through each one, but first, try to remember a situation where your cat seemed to pick up on something no one else did. Ready? So let's look at the 3 levels of this mysterious connection. Environmental awareness. This is the first and most subtle level, where the cat perceives energetic variations in the environment. According to Cayce, cats pick up on the emotional fluctuations of people and other nearby beings. They can read the energy of a room just by being there. It's not uncommon for them to move away during a family argument, become restless after a visit, or try to comfort someone in deep sadness, exactly as if they were connecting to the human emotional field. Have you had tough days, and your cat spontaneously approached you, lay on your lap, or purred beside you? It wasn't a coincidence. Cayce said that, in these moments, the animal acts as a vibrational stabilizer, neutralizing negative energies and balancing the environment. Direct interaction with spirits and entities. The second level is even more impactful. Cayce reported that cats see and sense presences that humans don't detect. That's why that fixed stare, sudden shivers, or sudden dash to a corner of the house would be signs of contact beyond physical limits. There were cases of people, during psychic sessions, reporting their feline reacting to entities or spiritual energies, protecting the home and its residents. According to the psychic, in various cultures and traditions, cats were treated as guardians between worlds, capable of blocking or warning about spiritual intruders. And this still manifests today, often right before our eyes, watching the inexplicable. Vibrational healing and expansion of human consciousness. The third level, perhaps the most extraordinary, is the vibrational healing power of cats. Cayce argued that the touch, purring, and even simple eye contact with a feline transform the energetic frequency of the human body, expanding the field of consciousness. Various accounts, corroborated by modern studies, suggest intense physical and emotional benefits from living with cats, from stress reduction to a deep sense of spiritual well-being. In short, every purr, glance, or movement from your cat can have unbelievably profound purposes. You just need to learn how to observe. Now that you understand the 3 levels of cats' spiritual connection, it's time to dive into real stories that exemplify these extraordinary abilities. Get ready to be moved and perhaps even see similarities with experiences you've had with your own feline. Sarah Richardson, a teacher from rural England, recounts a striking episode. During a period of deep depression, her cat, Oliver, spent days by her side, ignoring food and play. Every night, Oliver would position himself on Sarah's chest and, in silence, stare intently at her. After continuous sessions of this contact, Sarah began to feel an inexplicable sense of relief, as if an invisible weight was being lifted, little by little. It was as if he was sucking away the pain and anxiety that trapped me, she says, emotional. Today, Sarah believes she would have succumbed to sadness if it weren't for Oliver. Michael Townsend, a retiree from the United States, shares a unique experience related to the second level of connection. For months, Michael noticed his cat, Simba, roaming the house, late at night, often fixing on specific points near doors and windows. One night, Simba let out loud meows and took a defensive stance by the door, minutes before Michael dreamed of his deceased grandmother, receiving a comforting message. For Michael, there's no doubt, Simba was sensing the spiritual presence before me. He was the conductor of that message. Maria Gonzalez from Mexico had never associated her cat Lua's strange behavior with the environment's energies. It was only after consulting records of Cayce's readings that she realized. Lua avoided certain rooms in the house after some people visited, and conversely, always lay on her owner's chest when Maria suffered from asthma attacks. She seemed to know when I was going to have an attack, staying with me until my breathing normalized, says Maria, who now sees Lua as a feline angel. These stories, along with so many others, reinforce a universal pattern. Cats, in their apparent indifference, are actually vigilant guardians of our physical, emotional, and spiritual state. And as you must already be feeling, perhaps it's time to re-examine every small gesture and glance from your own feline companion. They might know something you're about to discover. So, which of these stories resonates with something that has happened to you? Share in the comments. That way we can create a community together that investigates and values these mysterious connections. From the most ancient times, cats have held a special place in the history of civilizations, always involved in mysteries that blend the sacred and the mundane. In various cultures, these creatures were considered much more than mere domestic animals. They were living symbols of a bridge between the visible and the invisible, guardians of mystery and agents of spiritual transformation. Let's start with Egyptian culture, where devotion to cats was practically a cult. In ancient Egypt, cats were worshipped as sacred beings linked to the goddess Bastet, protector of the home, fertility, and family harmony. Bastet was often depicted with a cat's head, central to legends that attributed to felines powers of protection against evil spirits and the channeling of renewal energies. Ancient Egypt recognized that these animals were not mere companions. They had an active spiritual role, integrating purification rituals and signs of good luck for the community. The death of a cat evoked a deep sense of loss, and killing them carried severe punishment, precisely because it was believed that breaking this energetically sacred connection would bring disharmony to the home and the family spirit. Aside from that iconic reference, in Japanese culture, the maneki neko, that famous white cat with a raised paw, is a symbol of good luck and prosperity. Traditional stories tell that these cats fulfilled spiritual missions, attracting good energies into homes and businesses. Legend says they protected against misfortunes and guided good spirits, maintaining harmony between the physical and spiritual worlds. This belief isn't just superstition. The symbolism points to the deep idea that cats possess a rare sensitivity, capable of recognizing and influencing invisible forces of prosperity and well-being. In Celtic traditions, the cat was associated with druids and was known to have a special connection to the mysteries of the afterlife and invisible dimensions. It wasn't uncommon for accounts where cats appeared as companions in rituals, able to interpret visions and dreams, acting as intermediaries between humans and spiritual worlds. Many Celtic legends highlight the cat's ability to cross the veils between the possible and the impossible, a kind of guardian of transitions, like those between life and death, dream and reality. This spiritual role transcended the physical and deeply touched the collective unconscious, linking humans to something greater and more enigmatic than 7 lives. These repeated cultural manifestations spread around the world suggest that the intuitive perception that cats are special beings isn't just superstition or popular imagination, but rather an ancient knowledge incorporated by generations. If even such distinct cultures recognized a powerful connection to spiritual realms in cats, shouldn't we then open our own perceptions and try to understand this relationship better? What is your cat trying to tell you, even when it just seems to be watching you? Why do various cultures warn us to look beyond what our eyes can see? The answer might lie in this deep and hidden bond, subtly preserved for millennia by ancestral wisdom. Now, you might be asking yourself, all this sounds fascinating, but is there any scientific basis to support these claims about cats? How far can modern science go to explain the energetic and spiritual perceptions these creatures seem to have? In recent years, various research studies confirm some of these intuitions, bringing science and spirituality closer in an unprecedented way. Let's talk first about electromagnetic fields, that invisible frequency that permeates everything around us. Studies show that cats have highly developed sensors to detect subtle changes in the environment, including variations in natural electromagnetic fields. This would explain often inexplicable behavior. The animal that seems to stare at nothing, react to inaudible sounds, and even avoid specific locations would be acting according to a sensory perception that surpasses common human consciousness. Scientists at the Neurocommunication Institute of the University of California conducted experiments that showed cats have special cells involved in detecting magnetic signals, allowing them to precisely locate energy variations in their surroundings. Furthermore, there's an extensive line of research on the sound of cats purring. More than just a sign of contentment, purring has specific frequencies, between 25 and 150 Hz, with very significant biological properties. The vibrations generated are similar to those used in therapeutic fields to accelerate bone repair, reduce inflammation, and relieve pain. It's proven that living with cats during these moments of purring can stimulate the immune system and promote a state of deep relaxation in humans. In other words, what once seemed magical has a concrete explanation based on physiology and bioenergy. However, the phenomenon of non-local consciousness, meaning the ability to perceive beyond time and space, still defies traditional scientific understanding. Doctors, neuroscientists, and consciousness researchers point out that humans and animals have interconnected systems through energetic fields that can intuitively influence each other. Cats, in particular, highlighted in pioneering studies conducted by Dr. Helen Fisher, an animal behavior specialist, showed an instantaneous response capacity to their owners' emotional states, even at a distance. Naturally, these scientific discoveries don't invalidate spiritual interpretations. On the contrary, they confirm that there are concrete foundations for something beyond the visible. After all, science is increasingly close to understanding that energetic phenomena and expanded consciousness are part of the reality we live in, told under a different language than traditional spirituality. If you've ever felt a deep energy exchange when interacting with your cat, know this: it's not just a coincidence. It's the concrete expression of an ancient bond that the human mind is only just beginning to unravel. Now that you know about the ancient traditions, scientific evidence, and real stories, let's dive into one of the deepest and most fascinating ideas in spirituality: soul contracts. Have you ever heard that term? It represents a kind of energetic and spiritual agreement made before birth, a predestined connection between beings who choose each other to fulfill evolutionary missions. Imagine that you and your cat weren't just brought together by chance, but that there was an inner calling, a synchronicity in time and space that transcends the physical plane. Cayce, with his profound readings, affirmed that cats and humans form these contracts to help each other in spiritual and emotional growth. In other words, your cat may have accepted the special mission to assist you with challenges you brought into this life. And here's a crucial point: deep connections that seem instantaneous aren't coincidences, but signs of this energetic agreement. If you've ever felt an immediate affinity upon meeting a cat, a strong sense of familiarity, you might be seeing these pre-incarnational choices manifesting in your experience. It's also common for people to notice inexplicable experiences, like feelings of protection, visions, shared dreams, or a comfort that transcends simple affection. All of this can be the result of these contracts. Not uncommonly, accounts of past lives associated with cats reinforce the idea that this bond goes beyond the present through reincarnation, perpetuating a spiritual friendship that renews itself time and again. This perspective broadens how you view your cat's role in your life. It can literally be a spiritual journey companion, a mentor, a healer, and a guardian, placed to help you overcome obstacles, retrieve memories, and awaken to a higher level of consciousness. The invitation that remains is this: observe your emotions and intuitions carefully in your interactions with your cat, as it can be the living mirror of your existential experiences, that sign the universe chose to guide you on the path of self-knowledge and healing. Now that you're presented with all this wealth of history, science, spirituality, and accounts, it's time to bring this wisdom into your daily life. How can you recognize this spiritual connection in your cat, in its behavior, gaze, and gestures that goes far beyond what we imagine? And more importantly, how can you cultivate this relationship to make it even deeper and more healing? First, start by observing. It sounds simple, but few truly dedicate themselves to noticing the details of their cat's behavior. Pay attention when it stares at something invisible, when it moves without apparent reason, or when it appears during moments of extreme sadness or distress, seeking your company. These are clear signs that your cat is picking up energies and reacting to them subliminally. A powerful yet accessible practice is joint meditation. Set aside a few minutes each day to sit quietly near your cat. Observe its breathing, feel the vibration of its purr. Allow both you and your feline to enter a synchronized state of relaxation, harmonizing your energetic rhythms. This connection not only strengthens the emotional bond, but intensifies the exchange of healing energy, a mutual gift that enriches both body and soul. Furthermore, value intuition. Often your cat can act as a subtle messenger that something is wrong or needs attention in your life. For example, if it refuses to enter a certain room in the house, it might indicate a dense or negative energy in that location. Investigate. Cleanse the environment with simple techniques like using incense, crystals, or just circulating sunlight and fresh air. Another fundamental aspect is respecting your cat's rhythm. As much as you want to understand and interact, remember that these beings are guardians of a silent wisdom. Respect their moments of solitude, their choices of space, and their breaks. This attitude creates an atmosphere of trust that facilitates the expansion of consciousness in the relationship. It's also worth mentioning that reciprocity of this energy is vital. If you're in emotional chaos, your cat will feel it, and may reflect restlessness or even get sick, as it's energetically connected to you. Therefore, taking care of yourself, cultivating positive thoughts, and seeking internal balance are ways to care not only for yourself, but for your spiritual companion. You can start jotting down situations where you notice these connections. moments where your cat seems to understand an invisible call, or when its presence softens a difficult feeling. By doing so, you'll be able to build a greater awareness of what exists between you, beyond simple coexistence. Also, try sharing this discovery with other cat owners. Exchanging stories, questions, and impressions helps broaden collective perception and create a network of support and mutual learning. As a final invitation in this stage, see your cat as a living portal to what we still can't explain with reason, a link that unites the human with the spiritual, the material with the ethereal, and the known with the unknown. How about starting today to look at it with new eyes? Have you ever felt that we're living a unique moment in human history? Something like a profound shift that transcends physical barriers to lead us to new levels of consciousness? Well, it's precisely in this scenario that the relationship between humans and cats stands out as an emerging and revealing phenomenon. Cayce already pointed out that we are all part of a great spiritual evolution, and that this journey occurs on physical, emotional, mental, and energetic levels. He suggested that, especially in the 21st century, the bonds between humans and other beings, like cats, would become increasingly evident and fundamental for our growth. This will be a period in which both humans and felines will undergo transformations and expansions in their ability to perceive, connect, and influence energies around them. Living with cats won't just be an emotional comfort, but an opportunity to accelerate internal processes, activate ancestral memories, and awaken deep intuitions. Current research in areas like quantum physics, neuroscience, and transpersonal psychology reinforces this idea, pointing to the existence of a planetary collective consciousness that expands and integrates all forms of life. Cats, with their keen sensitivity and connection to energetic frequencies, act as catalysts for this evolution, helping us transcend limitations and fears. We are living, therefore, in an era where recognizing the spiritual value of our cat isn't just a luxury or romantic belief. It's a necessary step for anyone who wants to actively participate in creating a new reality, more harmonious, connected, and aligned with what's deepest within us. But beware, this transformation requires our attention, care, and willingness to learn. It's an invitation to step out of apathy, question patterns, open our hearts, and above all, accept mystery as an intrinsic part of life. And are you ready to experience this evolution with your cat? Beyond companions, you are partners on this journey of awakening. Knowing this, feeling this, is the beginning of something much bigger. Do you feel the call? That almost magical tension that arises when we look into our cat's eyes and realize we're not alone, that there's something invisible surrounding and protecting us? The truth is, this connection is a living mystery, an invitation to explore who we truly are and what role we play in this vast and complex universe. How many times have you felt in the silence of your soul that there's something bigger there, subtle yet absolutely present? What if your cat is the key to accessing this dimension of meaning and healing? What if it's not just a pet, but a guide, a guardian, a bridge between the visible and the invisible? Think about it. Reflect on what I've shared here. Allow this new perception to transform your relationship with your cat, and by extension with yourself and the world around you. Now I want to propose a challenge. In the coming days, pay attention to the small signs, the moments when your kitty seems to respond to something you don't understand. Jot down your impressions. Observe the intensity of the bond, the comfort it brings. And of course, share your experience in the comments. We want to hear from you. Your stories enrich this community that is awakening to a more conscious, spiritual, and loving perspective. If this video touched your heart and sparked your curiosity, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to receive amazing updates about spiritual connections, self-knowledge, and fascinating mysteries that transform lives. Remember, your cat is more than a physical companion. It can be a silent master and a key to your inner development. Cherish, value, honor this gift. Thank you for being here, for looking with new eyes, and for allowing yourself this journey of discovery. See you in the next video, where we'll continue unraveling the secrets that make our existence and that of our felines so unique and magical.